trip to the line to assess what we've learned today. Click Start to begin or Back to review. A new parent roll was loaded and wound its first off. The parent roll has just finished winding its first off. Do you need to take measurements? What measurements do you need to take first? Where do you take edge trim width measurements? Wait, you can't just waltz into the slitter without preparing first. What do you need to do before you take measurements inside the slitter? Select all that apply. Okay, let's make sure we have everything we need to measure edge trim. Take the 4 pieces of PPE you should be wearing when measuring edge trim and place them in your inventory. Drag and drop into your inventory the measuring tools you will need to measure edge trim width. Then click Submit. Okay, time to measure edge trim width. Pick the appropriate tool and place it where it needs to measure. Place the metal ruler in the appropriate position to measure edge trim, then press Submit. Do we need to measure the edge trim width of this side too? What is the next task after measuring edge trim? Pick up the type of tape and knife you are most likely to use for taping and place them in your inventory. In what direction should you label? Left to right from the chromatic side or right to left? Which of these pictures illustrates the proper way to tape a flap? Select one. Drag the correct orientation of each of the 3 labels to their appropriate location. Then click Submit. There are 20 slit rolls in this DOF. Click and drag the correct orientation of each of the 3 labels to their appropriate location. Then click Submit. Take note of roll number and whether or not the label is reclaimed. Great job! Which of these slit rolls illustrates proper placement of flap labels on a good roll? Which of these slit rolls illustrates proper labeling of customer compliant labels? Now that you've taped and labeled, what should you do next? You've just finished checking for stuck rolls. All are good. Now it's time to measure the slit rolls. Place in your inventory the measuring device you will use to measure diameter. Place in your inventory the measuring device you will use to measure slit roll width. Which of these pictures illustrates the proper way to measure diameter? Which of these pictures illustrates the proper way to measure width? Where should you record your slit roll measurements? Select 2.